One of the things I want to talk about is the model. So Caleb showed you that green screen that had all the different boxes in it and step by step in the process. What a loan officer assistant does, then what the transaction coordinator does, then what the client concierge team does behind the scenes, like the 7-day call, the 30-day call, the 6-month call, the annual mortgage review. I don't know how y'all's bank account works, but the way my bank account works is you got to make a deposit before you take a withdrawal. That's a great value for you to learn that give, take. Give, take.
Yeah.
And if you do that with human beings out there, you'll always be successful in sales.
For sure.
When you saw what was architected, what was like little ahas you had from that?
I would say my first big one was kind of when Caleb explained how like the 7 and 30-day call are meant for really just the customer or the client. Like that's just for them to get to know you and for them to feel like you're willing to help them. And then the 6-month and AMR are more for you almost, because then you're getting their business and getting them to either refinance or...
So think of it as like probably an easier, more simpler way to understand it. The 7-day and the 30-day call is you making deposits in y'all's account together. The 6-month call and the annual mortgage review, you taking withdrawals.
Say another one is kind of how like I didn't really realize this, but it was how the trans coordinator will jump in at like the weekly follow-ups, and then that's when they start getting involved with everything. So I thought that was pretty unique. Those are my top 2 for sure.
So as you go through your ahas, I printed a few of these for you. You talked about like, yesterday after your first full day of dialing, you got more comfortable over the phones, the more reps that you got. But the most important thing I loved about your aha, and he writes his homework on a daily basis, every teammate, when they start, is you write your 5 ahas, what were the biggest 5 takeaways. Let's dig into that for a second. So when you got the homework and understanding your roles, before you leave every day, you've got to write the top 5 ahas. Walk me through, like, we're like, oh God, I got to do homework, or like, did you understand the purpose behind it?
Both. But I feel like I'm also used to it because growing up with you, like the aha word is probably like the most common word. But I definitely see the purpose in it. As much as I hated doing it, it helped remind me, oh wait, I learned this today. That's good to know. So those 5 ahas kind of helped refresh. And then whenever the next day when you'd go to write your next 5, you'd look back and then you'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot I learned that. So it definitely helps because I feel like if I didn't learn that, it would just go out the door. Like I want to remember it.
In one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
Right. But I think what's beautiful about that is the more that you write down what you have learned or experienced, the more it resonates with you, the more you remember how far you've accomplished.
Yeah.
And I think the challenge with the human demeanor or human perception of things is it goes in one ear, out the other, then you don't feel the self-confidence the next day.
It almost gives you like a flashback to the day before.
Yeah.
It'll kind of bring you back, and then it helps you kind of get back into the flow of things. Like this morning, whenever I got on the phone call, I was like, what do I do? Like, I forgot what I was supposed to do again.
There's a script you're supposed to follow.
Exactly. And then I was like, wait, looked back, and then I was able to get back into the flow.
So, like, my favorite things about your first aha last night was I got more comfortable over the phones, got more reps in, and the slowing down my voice and sounding calmer. We called Mr. Garrett on the way home last night, and I told you, remember the 3 things? Let's see if we can test them out a little bit. Remember the 3 things I told you Garrett did really well on?
Tone.
Good job.
Pausing.
Good job.
And pitch.
Brilliant, dude. Okay.
I didn't think those were right.
Yeah, good job. All right. So what helped you be able to actually, like, calm down, to, like, slow down?
Honestly, I think it was just more reps, like getting used to it. And then it was kind of like when you get on the phone call with a client, they're not going to, like, curse you out. They're not going to ask you a million questions. Like, that's mainly what they're going to get on the phone with the loan officer for. I mean, I've called people my whole life. Well, how is this any different? So then it kind of got me more comfortable in the situation. And I think definitely putting, like, at least for me, putting me on the spot and making me learn, like, while I'm on the call definitely helps me calm down and, like, get more experience and make the job easier.
You say that, but here's a question. This is something I've noticed about your generation. Like, my generation, if I want to get a hold of someone, I just pick up the phone and call them. Well, your generation, like, hey, do you call your buddy, da-da-da, and, like, all right, I send him a Snapchat. I'm like, why didn't you just pick up the phone and call the dude?
I think it's honestly, it depends who I'm talking to, I feel like. Like, and it depends, like, what I'm calling, like, what I want. Like, if I'm like, yo, let's go to the golf course, I'll probably call him.
Okay.
But if it's like, you want to hang out later, I mean, I'm not going to call him, be like, hey, you want to hang out later?
Yeah.
Just send him a text.
I think one of the biggest things I try to focus on as a father is how do I implement in you things that will help you stand out in life. I think majority of your generation, even younger or even a little bit older generation than you, have trouble with human interaction together, have trouble with eye-to-eye contact, have trouble with anxiety calling a stranger. I think the number one thing I want you to focus on this week is getting comfortable with calling somebody you don't know. Number one recipe for success or failure in sales is getting comfortable with calling people you don't know. If you call people you already know, they already bought. The whole point is a numbers game of sales is calling people that have not purchased, so then you can monetize on the call. All right. So the second aha was Sandra helped me in certain situations to be able to answer calls. So Sandra is probably 60-ish, somewhere in that range. She's got an Irish accent, which is like so flipping cool. Tell us a story about like how you freaked out a little bit yesterday. Like, what did she do to you?
I think you and Caleb were in a meeting, so Caleb was like, let's go in there, listen to them, take some notes down on what they do well. So I went over there, sat down next to her, and she made a call, and then she looked at me, and she's like, all right, pick up the phone. I was like, what? What do you mean pick up the phone? She's like, come on, let's go. I was like, I don't know what to do. She's like, we'll figure it out. So that kind of put me on the spot, and definitely had to learn fast in that situation.
Yeah. Did the world end? Did the person eat you? Like,
no, I was like, please don't pick up the phone. Please don't pick up the phone. Please don't pick up the phone.
That's not what
I think they did end up picking up the phone.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And I think the whole point of that is you learning the importance of being comfortable talking to strangers.
Yeah.
And I think at 20 years old, what's brilliant about that, your brother being 18 years old, of learning that trait. And I feel very fortunate as a father being able to teach you that, because that's just going to be trajectory in your career. If you're a mortgager, if you're a financial advisor, if you're a CEO of whatever company, at the end of the day, if you have trouble talking to others, you're not going to accomplish any level of success.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to get to those positions too if you can't talk to strangers.
Yeah. Do you see that in your generation? Do you feel like that's a differentiator for you now?
Oh, for sure. I feel like texting's definitely the main reason for that. 'Cause it's so easy just to send a text. For example, my roommates, instead of going knocking on their door, you just send them a text. And I feel like that's what's gotten like the younger generation to not talk to people as much, especially their friends.
Yeah, so your third aha yesterday was when a client says no, have a super low interest rate, to be able to combat that with talking about the home equity line. So we talked about the 5 major objections yesterday that you're going to get from a borrower when you call, then the 5 best objection handlers. 80% of the calls you're going to get what they're going to say, and here's how you win in each one of those. What did that kind of teach you, like maneuverability on a call?
I feel like it made it just like more versatile, like, because it's very popular for people to be like no and like give you an objection. And I feel like that kind of helps you. I feel like it helped me in the back of my mind, kind of settled me down, because like I know what to say in that situation, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
Plus also it helps you understand the framing of it and how to lead a client down a path, or lead another human being down a path. The importance of persuasion in anything you do.
For sure,
from friends to girlfriends to spouses to work to bosses. If you can learn to frame things really well in life, you can always get a pay raise from your boss. And you've got control on your future. If you don't know how to frame in a conversation, then your pay is going to be whatever your boss decides.